All right, let's get this stream started. How's the sound, everyone? Greetings, travelers. Hello, originally Max. Good to see you in here. So, today we are going to be watching The Reward. I'm gonna tell a little bit about. All right, thanks for letting me know the sound is okay. We're going to be watching The Reward. I'm gonna be talking through some of the little Easter eggs and some of the lore and the characters. And basically, this short film was what started Tales of Elithran. It's an epic little piece. We basically tried to put like a feature film into 9 minutes, and it was our graduation film from the animation workshop, and but already back then we had big plans with it. So all the little stories and the different characters, all of these were introduced in this short. Morning hair. Yeah, I just took a shower not long ago. All right, so before we begin this little adventure, do you guys have any questions? Then I'll take them here in the beginning before we dig into it. I also got this. I got that. Some streams ago I talked about this program we storyboarded in. All right, Pippas, throw your question. I'm good, thank you. It's summer. I hope all of you have an awesome vacation. All right, thanks, Rakomatic. That's awesome. Thanks for the support. Yeah, but I just returned from Iceland today, and I've been really looking forward to another episode talk through. It's really awesome to do this series and to dig into the episodes before the new episode comes out. So thank you so much for being here. So Inimi-chan says, The Reward is one of my favorite animated shorts. I showed it to all my classmates when I began animation school. Woo! Thank you, Rankomatic, you're awesome. It always brings a smile to my face. Thanks. Well, The Reward came out in 13, so it's getting a little bit. Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but it has like a little bit of a cult status already for myself as well. I still think this episode is really, really, really good, and it has the whole foundation for the world, and all the rules were made in this episode. So that's great. Joshua Wilking says, did you have the world and characters in your head even before you started doing animation? We had a lot of we really had a lot of good ideas, and we already played so much Dungeons and Dragons and different games that inspired us. So we definitely had some kind of idea for the world in mind, but it's actually started with me and Kenneth, who I created with, and the team, of course, but we pitched. So I'm just going to turn down the music just a little bit. The element in Havel, when the Twitch watchers don't what he is answering since he's talking to us watching YouTube. Yeah, okay. So basically, when I'm doing these streams here, we are streaming on YouTube and on Twitch. Eventually, these live streams will be on Twitch. So definitely jump over to the Tales of Elithran on Twitch. Let me just put a link if you want to see more of this. If you want to see one more of the streams that are not going on YouTube later, let me just send the link. It's here for you on YouTube. Doop. But yeah, basically we have these pitch rounds where we go up and pitch the movies we want to create, and then we get all the different classmates, they vote on what movies they want to be on, And both me and Kenneth actually had another movie that we were going to pitch. Mine was like what was it? It was basically you had this man and you went through his whole life, and he got old and he was running this little island, and he had to go to this big wheel to turn it around all the time. And when he's young, the wheel is super nice to easy to pull, and we have all these like friends and he eventually gets a girlfriend, and we have people attacking the island, and then he gets old and the wheel gets harder and harder to pull, and eventually he dies. But then we zoom out and see that it all took place inside of his heart, and then we zoom into that girl's heart, and she's still pulling her wheel, and it was this idea of, all the people you take in. And Kenneth had another pitch where we went the forest, and we followed this this guy living alone in the forest, and then he went out in the desert, and there was this monster. But we both wanted to make fantasy, and actually we talked about it, and then we said, okay, let's just pitch a movie together, where we do all the stuff we want to do. So there was fantasy and 2D and action and montages and all the stuff you see in the reward. And when we pitched it, we were asked by one of our teachers, hey guys, what movie do you actually want to make? What do you want to tell? And we just looked at each other into each other's eyes and said, the reward, let's go for this one. So that's actually how the idea came. But we were just sitting in a cafe and drawing the map and doing the characters, and we always knew it was going to be Warrior and Wizard that were going to be the main characters. All right. So yeah, there's another one here. And for us 97, you make great content. I hope to animate a fantasy world just like this one. Yeah, throw yourself into it. It's hard work, but it's really fun and worth it. Rankomatic asks, are you going to make a full series or a movie? Both would be awesome. Let's see what path we're gonna end up with. When the new episode comes out, we'll see how that goes. That's gonna be really cool. All right, but I hope you guys are ready. Let's dig into the movie. So, all right, but you can just keep writing. But now I'm gonna just play the movie, and whoops, let me just remove this over here. As with the other times we did these talk-throughs, we're gonna play the movie, and I'm gonna click pause if there's something I need to explain that takes a little bit longer. All right? All right. So that's the animation school I went to, and I'm teaching there now as well. We had this super luck where a guy called Jonas did a lot of the backgrounds, and he had actually been out in the industry for some time and just went back to school. So we got a lot of cool backgrounds thanks to him. And we have Vito and Wilhelm introduced here. As you see, Vito, we introduce him. He just wants to be recognized. He is a social character. He's not the coolest guy in town. And then we have Wilhelm here, who he's like he likes poetry. He's a little bit more into it, and he doesn't like all that attention as Vito does. But there are two other characters we have introduced here in this scene. I don't know if you noticed it, but down here we have Meg and Ken, the two kids we're following in the Choose the Path. Here, they're sitting and playing with their the balls. And Brun. Now we know Brun a little bit better. And Brun is a hero that, you know, they could just dream of becoming one day. He gets everything. He has the fame, he has the appreciation, and he drops this map. What do you guys think? Do you think that... do you think he drops the map? Do you guys think that Brun drops the map on purpose or leaves it for the boys? Let me just fix this camera here. I wonder what happens to that girl actually on the horse. He drops it on purpose. Alex kinda says. I think that at least this is what Victor and Wilhelm believes, because they drop the map later. I also think now that sailors, as you say, now we know Brun a little bit more. He could have dropped the map. He could also have made it all the way to the X. But now that we know him, he's also the kind of guy who also could have dropped it on an accident, as an accident. I love this shot. And their journey begins. Into the forest. We're gonna click pause a lot on this movie, guys. Sorry, there's something in all the shots. So somebody asked at some point who these characters are, and if we would be doing a little bit of episode with them. And you're right, these are the two characters we never actually introduced or did more of. But what you can see is that this guy has like a sign on his stomach, just like the deities have. So the question is how he is has gotten into like this deityhood. How did he get this symbol, the signal? Maybe we'll explain more about that at some point. But they're adventurous and they lose their weapons here because Vito and Wilhelm grabs them in the beginning of the journey. Yeah, loot. It's a lucky drop. And Vito is an annoyance to be with. But he has the other part of the map. It was a compromise they made. And it's not too bad to have on a journey. So basically this monster is like a monster that's the... this is Lake Love, and it's the Lake Love monster, which has like tentacles that it can create illusion spells and make into something else. So this little puppet on one of its hands is a mermaid. Pretty good trap. We're just gonna continue the montage here, and then I'll have answer some questions. Okay, so a lot happened in this montage. Salos asks, did Vito actually have magical talent, or is it all in the stuff? he starts getting magical talent here, but obviously he's a character who gets his magic from magical artifacts. Um, and I would say that when we created this world, we had a rule that was, okay, how does magic work? The rule is that energy and electricity comes from wind and nature. So all the stuff that's for practical use is actually stuff that we could also get as long as it can run on electricity. And in Dralak here, you can see the city. That's a city that is run by, it's like on top of the mountain, so there's tons of wind. That's why they have all these little windmill things. And the energy they get, they store and they use. And that's why they keep building up. There's a lot of wind here in Dralak City. Other questions? Oh yeah, I just want to say before I answer more questions, this montage here was actually, we looked at a lot of different montages, and one of my favorite montages from other movies was actually from a Goofy movie, which is also a road trip. And if you see the montage in there, you can also, it's not at all the same, but there was some stuff we really liked about that. And we were inspired from. In Goofy movie, they had different stuff where they stopped to fix the car, and then they also have this like son and dad doesn't really have the same kind of expectations for the journey, but then they eventually they realize they start to do stuff for each other and they get a good relationship going. The elemental haven. No, not the bamboo creatures. They had so much to live for. Who says they die though? It's just bamboo legs. They probably grow up. The only thing they should be afraid of is the long fall down, and also the predators in the forest. So Juan Huarte has a question. I got a question. Is this montage inspired by Road to El Dorado at all? There are some scenes that I find similar, like the dragon head releasing smoke. Actually, we tried to get as far away from a Road to El Dorado as possible because we were afraid of getting too mixed up with it. So also design choices were made different than that. At first we had one of the guys with dark hair, and that was too much. So we changed it. The Road to El Dorado has like a really, really nice intro. Like the first part of that film where they are in the town, they get to they get into that up at the island and they take that journey. That's my favorite part of that movie. I wish there was much more of that. Yeah, that was so definitely an inspiration, but not too big an inspiration for the montage actually. That was more a Goofy movie. Okay, so Ranko Matic says, explain how again is it from mana? Sorry in advance. You don't have to say sorry. I love the questions. Magic comes from the deities. They are the magical beings that can give creatures more or less magical use. Humans are usually become spellcasters through artifacts, but they can also unlock magical abilities if they, find some way of unlocking that, or if they have it in them, like the X-Men. You can also find magic books and all that can make you better, just like sorcerers and wizards. Sorcerers are like these when they are teenagers, and wizards, they have a hard, long time of schooling before they learn it. But in this movie you see magic mostly used for attacking, because the rule was that for this journey, for it to make sense, and we really wanted this technological sci-fi fantasy, and for that to work, everything couldn't be coming from magic. So there's both elements. But as we know that later in the series, some creatures are highly magical and has some extremely magical powers, like the deities. And we joked a lot about that in this where we had this idea that the deities living up north, they had become too sophisticated. They didn't want to deal with all this stuff, the mess they had created. So once every 1,000 years, they would create a little waterfall, or elsewhere they would just like have a good time. So last question here. Is coloring the rim, does coloring the rim take longer? The light on the edge of the characters? Yeah, sometimes we have to do rim lights for the shot to work. This is one of those scenes where we have some strong lights coming from the city, and we do all the rim lights manually, where we sit and draw the light on the characters. And in this movie, it looked super crazy before a shot because we had shadows were completely blue, lights were completely red, and then in compositing we would sit and make the right mood and feel for it. And Joshua Wilkins, yes, I would love to do a module for an RPG in this world. We've made an RPG system that we made for the Kickstarter backers mainly, and we printed all that and sent it out. So maybe a module for that, or a 5th edition, that would be great. Does this world have a writing system? Alex Carnegie, just let me know what you mean with writing system. Is it how they write, or is it how we wrote the world? All right. I mean, a separate writing system, not a font. You have to define that a little bit more. Original Max, is possible to get your card game? I think that when we do the next campaign, the next Kickstarter, we'll make the card game part of that, because I really love the design and of that, and there's some great adjustments to the game now. Oh yeah, and for the writing, the fonts, we have had like symbols that we used over and over for different things. And it would be super cool to write, not as a typical alphabet. I think it's more like stuff that makes sense visually. So usually when we do choose the path, we have like symbols in the speech bubbles and also in the comic. All right, cool. So let's continue. Thanks for the question, guys. Let's continue this journey. I don't know if you noticed, that's one of the few words spoken. Ooh, party! Let's hear it again. Kenneth voices Wilhelm and I voice Vito. Alright, thank Ellie Ellen for following on the Twitch. And here we have Mira, introduction of the thug leader, who we'll eventually get to know much more. Thanks, Samad. Alright, so here comes a fight scene that usually, before, when we did the boards for this fight scene, it was a very here we go. Thanks for following. So when we did the fight scene, the first fight scene in the boards were very rough. It was not rough in like the not done, but it was very like Uruth had like knuckles that he like hit Wilhelm with, and Wilhelm was stabbed in the shoulder. And the reason why we toned it down a little bit with the fingers getting cut off, as you see real soon. But here we go. Thanks for joining in, everyone. VCTLF. But the reason why we did this was because at this point we wanted it to be serious. we wanted Vito's act of betrayal to mean something. And that's why it should change a little bit in tone here. The light tone should become darker. And I would like to actually just go a little bit through what we also did in the colors for this fight scene. So if it's okay with you, we're going to go through 2 times. First where I explain some of the lore, and then I explain what we actually did with the colors here. Obviously we like anime. So a really neat middle where people who were falling a little bit asleep should wake up here in this fight scene because things are getting serious. This is where Wilhelm loses his fingers. Who did that whistling? That was me. Yeah, the whistles have been me and Kenneth at different times. I'd just like to find a little quick thing for you guys to show you. 2 seconds. So for the colors, I'm gonna find it here. 2 seconds. Okay, here it comes. So basically for the fight scene, we did a separate color script for that, and I'll show it to you here. It's gonna come up on the screen now. Thanks for following. So basically what we did here was that we wanted to have this fight scene work where we use colors to direct the eye. And as you can see here, we have Wilhelm walking into danger. He's red, he's the warning sign here, and then the thugs are blue. So as Wilhelm arrives, when Wilhelm arrives, we have blue suddenly coming into his color. Doof. And then we see him, he's red, but all the thugs are blue, so we can separate them. Then we have full screen blue, and she says, I want your map, I want some of the red here. Then we start mixing the colors in the fight scene. Blue and red starts fighting, Now we have blue watching red, because red is about to, damage blue. So Uruth loses his hair, red is starting to take over the screen, but then another blue comes in, sit here, and the fingers are cut off. Here red starts to die out. We have Mira winning over, and so it's very blue, and red is fainting. Now we have even Wilhelm turning more blue and not so red. And here we have a mix. Who's gonna win this battle? He has the shield, she has the attack, and then full screen red again, he attacks blue, and we actually faint blue here because they lose. So it turns gray, and in the end even towards purple, and then red has won, and the battle is over, the danger is over, so the red disappears here. So there's a lot of thought processed into these little sequences in order for the eye to read. And this was on top of the full color script we had, where we went from, I believe in the reward we did from morning to evening, so it was I hope until nighttime. And then so that was just something I wanted to explain there. Now you can just see it as a whole. So we have red. Sorry, I just need to get back to the Twitch chat here. I closed it down. Rep. All right, so Wilhelm looks scared in that shot as he is realizing he just killed another human. Yes, so basically, this was supposed to be serious. It was supposed to be hard, even though Mira was a threat. You know, Wilhelm didn't expect it to be this violent. So it's a big sacrifice here. All right, let's go. So red, blue enters. We have blue. Soul symbols. Blue takes over red. Red comes back. A mix. Who's winning the battle? Thanks for following. Yeah, and thanks to Paolo Giandoso for doing a really good job on these colors. He was on the reward team. Danger is over, but what happened to Vito? He should also be in danger. So at this point, obviously, it's like, how did they get his part of the map? Hey, Aussie Scribbler. Awesome you found us. And he's just drunk. So Willem is like, I don't want to travel with you anymore. I thought I could trust you. And he's like, whoopsie daisy. What I actually really like about this is that Vito is actually getting his goal. What he wanted on this journey was to, get attention, get the recognition. Wait, where did you go? Thanks for following. Femanialog. So basically, Vito, he gets what he wants here. This is going nuts. Naya, thank you so much, Samuel, for following. He got what he wanted. Vito, he got recognition, he got the good story, he got attention, but he's stepping on Wilhelm's goal. He just wants to get to this X on the map. Hello, Mohammed Rifki. And here he realizes, okay, my goal for this journey is actually messing with Wilhelm. And this is also why, these two characters are the main characters both, but Wilhelm is probably the main character, if you can say that, because he gets through the biggest struggle. He's the one who always sacrifices, where Vito is a little bit easier to satisfy. At this point, Vito actually has gotten what he wanted from the beginning. Even though they both want to get to the map, Wilhelm has like one goal, one focus, and that is the X. And Vito knows that, and he's a good friend. Blood loss, no! And we'll get to know this place later. We get back to it so many times in the series. A classic reunion scene. I love this. That's meme worthy. So before we start this montage, it's gonna go very fast what happens. So we wanted all these, we wrote on post-its, very cliche. We had like a whole wall full of adventure ideas and epic scenarios, and we took the best of them and had like made an arc for the story for what should happen. And in the first one, of course, we needed the friendship arc to go. Wait, let me see. Whoops. And in this one, we just needed it to escalate, 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 escalate. They kill monsters. They sleep against the dragon. With comets in the back. Sea serpents attack in Balask. They get to the temple. I don't know if you noticed all the little Easter eggs, but here we have like a crystallized prince who like frees himself here. He actually had a design used for only this shot. And oh yeah, let me just go through each of these scenes when we've watched it. Okay, so let's go through the different adventures. So they ride a giant here, and these giants, as I have mentioned in a previous stream. Oh yeah, you heard the Wilhelm scream. Well spotted, Salas. That's also an Easter egg, of course. And Aussie Scribbler is that dude they're fighting supposed to be a god. Yes, he's a deity of protection, protecting the lands where the gods are resting, because that's where the X is, that's where Lithran's lair is. But I'll get into that shot when we get to it, because there's a very fun story with that shot, and yeah, I'll reveal that in this. But the giants they're riding here, what's cool about those are that they have been created by the monks of Nur as like huge. They were created as like servants, but some of them are free and just travel around. They are so epic at this point that they can ask for favors. Maybe they just help the giant, and then he helps them back. In the very first Kickstarter we did, we actually did a long illustration series. I don't even know if I can find them anymore, because we sent them all out to backers of the Kickstarter, where each illustration had a story from this montage with all the stuff they did on the road in between the scenes. And then when we had made the illustrations, we just sent them out to the backers of the Kickstarter, so each had like a little chunk of the adventure. And I think we did a post at some point where we put all of them together on Tumblr, but that is a long time ago. But what's cool about these giants is that they're created from like big treasures and like worth like minerals and gems that are worth a lot. And when they die, a huge thing shoots up in the sky, explodes, so everybody can see where the treasure is, so all the adventurers go to find them. And that's why these are also threatened, these giants, because some heroes might want to kill them, but they're not evil, they're just neutral. I hear also from the Twitch chat over here that the quality is better over there, so you might want to consider jumping over there. And of course here we have a cliff. They say help each other, they got each other's back. Yeah, these geishas that shoots out fire in the mountains. Yeah, not everyone would climb them, but Vito and Wilhelm would. We actually also in that illustration series we sent out explained who this is. Basically, they come to a castle, they save this princess, and they've just saved her, and they go back to the castle where they sit and dine with the king and all that stuff, and and of course they ride the dolphin unicorns. A lot of people say narwhals, but as you can see, they have like a dolphin face, because dolphins are cute. And the angels are singing for them, also for the mission. Wilhelm starts to be a little bit less shy. They get famous in the big cities. Maybe this would be Arist, the flying city of Arist, but it could also just be a kingdom of around Mol, which we also went through in an earlier stream. Here I would have to find the map. 2 seconds, let me just find the map. Because this is at a place where, if I remember correctly, comet shards are coming down all the time, and the weather is extreme in this part of the world. So mages, like big wizards, come here to charge their magical artifacts and to test out weird ideas for magic. But let me just find it on the map. I need to remember where it... Yeah, here it is. Alright, thanks for following. PyCode. Let me just open the map. So, here we have... If I remember correctly, the Malik Coast. The Malik Coast is where all this happens. Wow, I found the bad quality one. 2 seconds. There we go. I want this map. That's the good one. So this is where they're sleeping here. Turtle Bay, the Drag Jungle. Castle Pyrgos might actually be where they're saving that monster then. And then up here we have the Malik Coast, where all these meteors shoot down all the time. So I think the chicken dragon must be around here at the Turtle Bay. Yeah, and this is also where, I mean, they're really good friends. You can see they even like hanging out. They're pretty uni kind of bromance going on here. And here there's a little Easter egg as well. They're actually protecting this little Deity here. So a lot of you guys ask like, what happened to the rest of the deities? Some of them are like crystallized, like this one. Well, on this mission they are carrying it to another destination and have to go through Balask, which is this ruined city that got over-flooded. And here we have the totem monster in the temple. Yeah, I don't need to explain much about that. That's definitely a boss potential with all the different heads that can do different magical abilities. It's like a beholder. So if you notice this is like a deity. I remember we had at some point where they were high-fiving him, but we needed this to escalate. This should be the highest point of their adventure before they X on the map. So they had been shooting heads of a mermaid and a sea serpent and now a deity, a god. So yeah, this is like one of the big protectors. We definitely glowed a lot up to like not provoke anyone. We cross a lot of different taboos in this movie, but I think this one probably is one of the ones where we were mostly scared of how it would be received. But that was not one of the ones we were hearing most from. That was more like another thing. But yeah, we glowed a lot because you can see here there's also one hanging on the sword and stuff. It was just crazy. And they enter the X. Let me just turn this off. Yeah, so they reach the X on the map, and as we all know, there's nothing there, or is there? In the first idea for this scene, we actually didn't have a mirror because we thought it was too obvious. So for a long time, it was one powerful ring or artifact that they had to share, but it didn't get the message across. And you know, so we got this idea of like putting the big treasure behind the mirror instead, so they could see themselves. When there's no dialogue, it's hard to explain stuff. And he's bald. Thanks, Kevin Lewis, for stopping by. The most epic high five there ever was. So before we go deeper in, have you seen the reference? No, you haven't. Let me just do this. We did, like, before we did the movie itself, we did a little 30 minutes pitch for the reward and the mood we wanted in it, and I think we actually put it on the YouTube channel, and where you can see like the first idea for the big explosion high five. Let me just put it in here. The reward pitch Elethran. I'm pretty sure this is gonna be coming up. First pitch. Yeah, here we go. So this was like the first pitch for the reward. Yeah, I'm just gonna turn off the music so you can see. But I can't carry you! And then we did a little first animation of Wilhelm here. And bromance between Sam and Frodo, we definitely wanted a lot of that in there. And then of course we had the high five and explosion. So that was like the first, the very first concept of the reward. All right, any questions? Whoa, thank you so much, both Parker Henson and Berserker Gareth. That's amazing. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Okay, so yeah, exactly as you say over at the Twitch, when we get affiliated, it means that we can do like it means that we can get like little small buttons over there and subscriber button and all that cool stuff. So we can keep doing these streams. Of course, we're going to continue doing normal videos as well, like choose the path and animations and edited videos. But I really would like to keep this stream going. So thank you guys so much for being here. It's awesome. Thanks for following. Claire CC. So now we're gonna dig further in here, and then I'm gonna answer some of the questions. But Mohammed Rifki, yes, we had a lot of inspiration from Lord of the Rings, especially. We really wanted this fantasy that hit like cliches and where we used old cliches in movies, also like Conan the Barbarian, a lot of other fantasy stuff and Dungeons & Dragons, but then we wanted to use the cliches more as like humor because it's references that we all know, and we wanted to play on those. So Louis Torrance, what is this live about? We're going through the reward and I'm telling about all the little Easter eggs and secrets there is on it. Yeah, but let's continue. Meg and Ken, they're a little bit more grown than from the beginning. Yeah! Let's just dwell a little bit on this, because this is probably the most epic painting of Vito and Wilhelm. Plus, it's the only time we see Vito with open eyes. I don't know why anybody didn't comment on that before, because this is actually the only time where Wilhelm doesn't look like this. Yeah, I really like this portrait. And the young boys, who were once noobs as well, pass on the map to two new adventurers, Meg and Ken. Yeah. This animation was so hard. Ken had finalized it. It's really nice. And we have Sylvia and Tatiana introduced. Notice how Sylvia and Tatiana, we introduced them by they do low five. We had like Victor Vilma the high fives, but then we wanted in this end we wanted to show Meg and Ken. They are everybody says that he looks like Sasuke. Careful what you wish for. But yeah, Meg and Ken here are inspired from our Pokemon trainers in the animation jam that I showed a couple of streams ago. They're struggling, they're gonna go out on a new adventure, and then we have Sylvia and Tatiana introduced. They are high-fiving because they are going out on their own quests, which we continue in the Choose Their Path. Actually, what they were doing here was actually they had heard about the treasure map and they wanted to take it from Vito and Wilhelm. So in the scene coming after this, which I'm just gonna show in a second. So here they high-five. We're coming back to this one because I just want to show this little thing. So basically, the idea was always that what happens after this scene? Is it the happy ever after? No. This is just the introduction of the world and all these stories that we want to tell with the different characters. So basically in the Choose the Path adventures, we continue their story here, where they try to take the map from them, but obviously the map has just been given to Meg and Ken. But this is for another day, another talk through. So we wanted to continue this and make a pilot episode. And that's why we did post-credit scene. Yeah, hairstyles changed because we wanted to make the character designs stronger. So basically before we made like a full series with Sylvia and Tatiana, we wanted them to look exactly like we wanted them. And not just as side characters. So in the post-credit scene, we see here, we introduce that behind the mirror, we had Alethrian. And obviously Alethrian is sitting with all the gold, so we could really think about all the treasure that Vito and Wilhelm missed, and what was that thing they missed in the treasure. And that's what first season focuses on. That's like the post-credit scene really leads up to the whole season 1, and that's also why I'm gonna release season 1 before we release the first part of season 2. We're going to release season 1 in a release order instead of the timeline order, which we have made previously. Yeah, so definitely Vito and Wilhelm that started it all. They have the most, that story is just good. I really can rewatch The Reward over and over again, and it's it's the foundation for all of the animations to follow, and probably also why most of you guys know this world. So Ozzy Scribbler here asks, how much of this epilogue got retconned in the first hero? Well, nothing got retconned, right? Everything got retconned. The hardest thing for the end scene here was actually giving Alethrian his helmet. The next talk through I'm gonna go through is probably gonna be the first hero, Tales of Alethrian, the first hero. because I think that the Thugs Live episode talk through is gonna be closer to Daughter's Revenge, because that's connecting very much with that. But actually, I don't think anything got retconned from this. The design got a little bit changed, but really, 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 really little. I think the only thing that when you see this room again, the cloth that is on Elithran here is changed to the legs, because he's like pushed into the chest, as you know. Other questions? Let me just put on some music, and then we're just gonna round up with doing some. Actually, I'm gonna do one more thing in the stream today, because I couldn't get a program to work last time, and I got it to work now. So I'm gonna show a little bit of what we experience with right now. For storyboards. But first, I'm gonna answer some of all your questions. So, was Elithran's story in the works by the time you were finishing the shot? Yeah, the concept was there, but the story basically was changed a lot over the course of time. Because after we made the reward, we went out and worked. I went to Paris to work on a feature film there, and Kenneth went to Spain, and then when we came back, we started up again, and we had a lot of ideas. But basically also life just changed when we made the reward. The whole concept, the journey is the reward, came from us watching a lot of other people thinking too much about what they wanted to do after school and what they were like trying to get into education, and it was always like, we have to reach the next thing, and whenever you reach that thing, that was just a new thing, so there was always something to complain about, always something to feel bad about, and we just enjoyed drawing and playing games and being where we were. So we wanted to make this movie as a homage to the journey, because you never know how long your journey will be, so it's just a matter of enjoying it. And Elithran's story, of course, changed a little bit from that. Just because our life changed, so it was much more about the relationship and the all of a sudden running a company and career versus relationships. That became the foundation for the pilot, for the first zero. Other questions here. The Elemental Haver, are going to make more comics in the future? I'd really love to. I think that when we're not sitting and doing like a full animation, then I think we're gonna do a comic. It depends on the budget. If we have, if the Kickstarters are successful and the Patreon is growing, then we can do animations. But maybe some of that will have to be comics at some point, just because it's many times for this project we've spent much more money than we had, and that's just a reality of animation. It just takes a long time to do, and comics also takes a long time to do, but maybe we'll do that at some point where we just like release chapters. So, Aussie Scribbler, regarding the cliches the reward evoked, do you regret using the more misogynist of fantasy tropes, especially women's very limited roles in this original episode? Yeah. So time changes, right? And I think the most where we have been most punished and been not liked by people has been where in that area, and we never ever had any political or like something we felt strongly towards. We were all just wanting to make fantasy like in the 80s and use those cliches. But as you can also see, the series is growing and maturing a bit. They are definitely very, very cool female characters, and even the one dying in this episode, Mira, has a really strong story, I feel. But yeah, man, all people men or women or transgender or anything. It's characters. It's really, um, you know, yeah. When like I love old people, but old people have different traits and things that are fun to play with. In this episode, it was Vito and Wilhelm's story that everything took place around. So everybody else, other than Vito and Wilhelm, were supporting their plot and supporting their goals and wants. Yeah, but I definitely, when I see it today in some crowds, I'm a little bit like, because there are some things that I would do different today. Thanks, James McCarty, for respecting and liking the story. So the Lamenton here says the reward is kind of a modern fairy tale if you look at it as a standalone feature. Yeah, exactly. That's it's very different storytelling. That's also why nobody wanted to support it when we came out and wanted to make it a series. So thanks everyone who supported the Kickstarter Patreon for making that possible. And Ozzy Scribbler, Mira's story turning out to be basically the opposite of what it seemed here was a welcome surprise. Yeah, and that's actually the first episode too. We made a Mira story after the reward that was written right after we made the reward. Mira's story was the first story we really wanted to tell. So that was the first story that was put into words. Originally, Max, what's your proudest moment in season 1 if you were to pick? Ooh, that's a hard one. I'm actually very proud of the integration, in interactive storytelling. All the different characters blending together and forming a world and a big story. That's what I'm enjoying the most, where all the characters are characters I want to know, and none of the characters are just side characters. They all have some kind of build and character creation. So that's probably what I like the most. But if I were to take one thing, I think then I would say the montage. The montages are my favorite, and Vito and Wilhelm's first montage is probably, that must be one of my favorite. And the first hero, also the montage, I really like that. It's hard to pick your favorite child, it's hard. I like all of it. But the montages, I'm really proud with those, and of the team, everybody involved in this project. It's been a really a treat and a delightful journey to be part of it with everyone who I've worked with by now. All right, but something I want to show just before we quit today is actually pretty fun. So you can just keep the questions coming, but I'm gonna take this up now. Whoop. So let's see if this works. Yeah. So basically, we've been experimenting with storyboards, and this is what I wanted to show. Where's my little thing here? So basically, if you have like a city or something where you need to have a camera around, we've been using this called Townscape, where you can basically build a little city. 2 seconds, we'll just get back to the Twitch here. And we have actually been using this when we have been doing the Choose the Path for like camera moves. So we have been able to like see, okay, we have some characters standing there. We want the camera to zoom out a little bit there, and then we can do this. But what's cool about it is that even if you have like a flying island or like a camera close to a city, a medium shot, then you can build the the village and then draw after it. Let me just make a little fun thing. Do you guys know about this even? Oh. Well, I don't want that. This might seem ridiculous, but it's actually pretty awesome. See if I can run with this. Can I get this one here? And I'm gonna just put this on here. There we go. Yeah, so if you want to build something weird and funky, then you can use this. So I have less, but I'm also just gonna and then you can change the color of the houses if you want, and make like a little city. And this program is called Townscaper, and it's pretty cheap on Steam. But it's really nice if you are like a creative and you just want to get better at perspective. Then I recommend trying this out. We've been playing around with it just recently for the Choose the Path when we had like cities. And I think it's just like a fun little creation tool. Yeah, so right now I have this little nice village here. I don't know what I did here. Maybe I should try to put a little bit more. This is a weird balcony. Maybe I should have some stairs or something. Alright, so yeah, I just wanted to show that this was the program when I talked about camera angles, and in Choose the Path stream lately, this was what I referred to. And it's super early development. Yeah. Cool. But I think we're gonna round up for today. Thank you so much for stopping by. Can you put people in your town? Maybe one day, random squid. That would be neat. Right now, I've just been using it as like a tool for storyboarding. Yeah. Yeah, it definitely reminds me of Ghibli animation as well. I don't know why, it's just so fun to sit and create villages. And thanks to Anna, one of my team members, who is really, me and her doing crazy much on the Choose the Path episodes, and she was the one who found this. The Elemental Haven, yes, I could put a list together. Maybe I'll throw it up in the Discord of like cool programs to use. Goldschlager asks, do you feel that every character you create, even the antagonists, have a piece of you entwined in them? Yeah, like when we have had character creations, I think that especially in the beginning, it was a lot of the stuff me and Kenneth had an interest for, and I definitely see a lot of myself in the characters. That's like a lot of different sides to them, where it can be put to where we were in our lives when we made them. And it's also, your drawing style changes all the time, so it's really fun to look at it, kind of like a history book, and go back and see where you were. Yeah, but there's a unique story to all of them. Maybe I should do, I have been asked to do like a character design video at some point. Maybe we'll do that in a future video. But all the characters are so cool. Cool. But I think that's gonna be it then. So thank you so much for stopping by, and we'll be doing. Usually we do. You're welcome, Original Max. Thanks for being here. Take care, everyone. we'll be doing streams usually on Tuesdays and Sundays over the Twitch. Sometime if it's a bigger stream like this one, then we'll do it on the YouTube channel as well. And yeah, sometimes it's not going to be as frequently, sometimes it will. It really depends on the period. It's been awesome here in the summer to be able to talk to you guys. I think next talk through will be for the first hero, and next drawing will be, I wanna draw Doig and Swift, some of the other streamers on Twitch, and some people I really like. So that's gonna come soon, where I draw them in Tales of Lathrun style. And I also think we're gonna be doing some challenges, some drawing challenges as we usually do. We're gonna do one soon, where I'm gonna be looking through them on the Twitch, and we can get some. Yeah, but I'm gonna reveal more about that soon. Last thing, yeah, probably some more animation as well. And Choose the Path is coming soon. All right, I think that was all the news. So see you soon. Thank you for joining the Twitch, and it was a pleasure as usual. Take care. Bye.